Our next panelist is Azim Arefi. And she is part of the Iranian community that gives a lot of talent to Foothill D'Angelo College District. The Anza College has a creative writing class, and she's one of the professors. So again, welcome. She will be our next speaker. She's an author. She's published award-winning short stories. Let me tell you where I've been. New writings by women of Iran. Most of her stories navigate Persian culture. So without further ado, please.
Hello, hi everyone. I'll keep my introduction short. I would just like to thank everybody for being here, especially my students. So many of my students are here today, so I'm very excited about that. And also thanks to Fedex and everybody else who puts these events together, because I think they are very, very important. So it's an honor to be part of this distinguished panel here. The theme for this year has been expression through art. And so as I was thinking about what that might mean to me as an artist, as somebody who writes, I thought about how one aspect of art is to try and make things beautiful that may not even be necessarily beautiful, or talk about things in an artistic, beautiful way that are not by in and of themselves beautiful. Sometimes they're in fact ugly, taboo, or even depressing. And so one of the poems that I have recently written talks about one of those things that is neither attractive nor something that we all like to talk about, but it has to do with suicide and depression. And what was the inspiration behind this was actually the Golden Gate Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge, I'm sure everybody can picture that in their mind, right? It is the landmark of San Francisco, if not California, even perhaps the West. It's probably the most recognizable bridge in the world. But it also has another distinction, which is it's the #1 suicide destination. Not only in California, not only in the United States, but in the world. Most people, more people than any other place, choose the Golden Gate Bridge as the place to end their life. And so this poem that I wrote, I was trying to get inside the mind of somebody who might want to do that to themselves, but also to try and maybe pass on this idea of responsibility to the rest of us. Why is it that so many people feel like they need to do this to themselves? Because there is hope, there is help, if they can just look for it. So that's what I mean about expressing something through art that some people may not even want to talk about, but I think it's important to do so. And this poem is called The Bridge. She had read that poison only worked 15% of the time, drug dose 12% of the time, wrist cutting a mere 5%. She had read that a tall bridge, however, kept its promise and worked almost every time. That's why she had chosen the bridge. She was boring, fat, and in the way. She was useless, empty, a rag doll stuffed with hay. No one wanted her. No one would miss her anyway. She could see the future like a mystic fortune teller, and the future did not include her. That's why she had chosen the bridge. She had read it would be quick and clean. She didn't know that her ribs would break into knives and stab her lungs and spleen. She didn't know she would be taking an egg beater to her insides, that her mashed brain would ooze out of her ears, that once under, crabs would peck at her eyes and loose flesh cheeks. That's why she had chosen the bridge. She didn't know that her 4-second fall through the air might be long enough to regret the tear, to realize that the unfixables were not, that her demons were defeatable if she had only fought. Maybe it was possible to feel other than despair. Maybe it was even beautiful to be shaped like a pear. That's why she had chosen the bridge. The most famous bridge in the world, the one painted fireweed, expanding tenaciously over the rough ocean tide, an engineering marvel indeed. The one that was to be a testament to the progress of man, but became a monument to his last deed. The one, like its name, used as a gate to the other side. She counted out her bills and paid the taxi fare and waited patiently for her change. The taxi driver drove away, disappointed in his pay. Did he not wonder why a teenager paid $150 to drive to the bridge alone in the middle of the day? She began her trek to the middle. The cold wind wrapped itself around her like a blanket, crept inside her jeans and jacket, and took hold of her seashell earlobes. Her headache grew worse, eyes wanting out of sockets. She had not slept for many nights. Her heart hammered in her ears, but would soon be quiet. The dread that had grown inside her belly for months and months was now a heavy bowling ball. It pulled everything down into her intestines, dragged down her eyes, the corners of her mouth, weighed on her shoulders so she couldn't stand tall. But she knew that soon this ball of dread would pull her under, help her sink, and then dissolve. People passed her by. No one looked at her. Then a crazy thought. I won't jump if one person smiled at me. She kept walking. No one smiled. No one came near. Just as well. She wanted to disappear. Perhaps she already had. No one seemed to notice the girl wiping away tear after tear. She grabbed the rail, touching the bridge for the first time. A taste of iron seeped onto her tongue, as if she became one with the bridge. It was a sign. The bridge wanted her, accepted her, body and fragile mind. She took her backpack off and leaned it against the bridge, like a gift offering for the holy shrine. One deep breath, and she climbed over the barrier that was no barrier at all. Her ball of dread felt heavier. She had to step carefully onto the ledge. She wanted to jump, not to fall. That would not have been what she meant at all. That would not be it at all. She looked down, only once, her hair whipping around her face. Inside, she was a flutter of calm and terror. She grabbed the rails and leaned forward, as if taking a bow. One last breath, she let go, knowing that she could not fly, but hoping that her soul would learn how.
Thank you very much.